Welcome back to our next episode of the Soda Citizen podcast. It's still a podcast, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Mary Lane Sloan, I'm our co-pilot, Brad Allen. We are over at the Art of Real Estate team at EXP. That's still weird to say. So, but yeah, so we're going to have a fun episode.
Yes.
Fun episode. I'm like asking a lot of questions that I probably should know, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So we're with like the two co-owners of Craft and Draft, which honestly is like house, church, pretty much the way my life goes. Obviously, we got Kellen Monroe and Caitlin Schreier, and they're the faces you always see that you may not know they own it because they're always working real hard.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you know an owner, right?
Yeah.
You look busy.
Yeah, that's right.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
To carry a clipboard as well.
Just
carry a
look
clipboard.
busy.
It's the equivalent of walking with a purpose, right?
That's how it works.
Yes.
I have a cough this entire
Oh, great.
thing, yeah.
Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
This is
Appreciate y'all.
Kellen's second time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Last one was fun. It was outside. It was all dramatic. And now
You know, we're in here.
we're
Right.
sound studio.
It's
Yes.
very moody. I
Very
like this
formal,
space.
Yeah. Well, we try and keep it
Official.
classy. Yeah. That's what happens when you buy too much camera gear. Like, what should we do with it? Let's do this.
Had to rein them in. To rein them in.
She thought it was only $1,000. Worked out really well.
Yeah.
So people that don't know, right? Like Craft and Draft, like y'all were like the OG bottle shop, draft house, right? I mean, but you don't brew your own beer, but you do a really good job at selling everybody else's.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. South Carolina is a 3-tier state always. So production of alcohol, distribution of alcohol, retail of alcohol. We fall into that retail category. And yeah, we there was no cool bottle shop in Columbia, and we decided to kind of morph an idea of a bar/bottle shop, and now I'd call us restaurant, community
Yeah.
center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However
yeah.
you want to look at that now.
You
You got
gotta
like
s-
a permanent food truck now, right?
Yes, yeah. Divine Street has a permanent food truck, and our
Mm-hmm.
Irmo shop has a full kitchen and everything at all times. So.
I did. Yeah. I was like, how do they back that thing in every damn time? The tongue's facing the wrong way.
It's there.
Again, the $1,000 toys.
Yeah.
Buy one,
Yeah.
so,
Right.
yeah.
Yes, he did.
If you
He
need a
did.
trailer dolly, we have one.
Yeah. Right?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
I
Actually-
always tell people that we have the best job because we always get the best beers from the best breweries. And
Yeah.
that's kind of, it makes my life so much easier on selling because I'm not going to sell you something that I don't want
That
to
you
drink
don't like.
myself.
Right.
So it's kind of really cool that even though we don't brew our own beer, which we actually do for collaborations, for anniversary parties and stuff like that, but we just have the best job because we get all the good stuff.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the beer itself. Like, how do y'all choose? Like, what is it types of
All
seasons?
him.
Like, you kind of go through the darker
that's
beers
his
in the winter?
baby.
Yeah.
I tried one time to take it from him. I was like, "You're so busy. I don't mind ordering." He's like, "No."
Yeah, I think in 12 years now, or just shy, because Andrew ordered for probably the first 6 months we were open, and then when I came over from the DOT full time, basically I think it's been about 3 weeks maybe total of time that I haven't ordered all the beers.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
crafts.
even the manager's like only like when he's on vacation, he's still ordering the beer. Like he'll be like, "You can order from like this one distributor, but like I got it. Don't worry."
Do you have to like taste them all so you know?
You have to taste
I
the
say,
Right,
I say in
yeah.
the old days I probably tried to do that.
Yeah.
It does not work.
okay.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
beer is interesting because wine you do sort of get to taste everything. The reps bring samples
Right,
and everything.
yeah.
Beer is a ton of like sort of blind
trusting.
Yeah, and so I say there's sort of the time of the year, what's seasonal, what I always joke around. I'm like, if I look at our sales numbers and you show me what beer's sold, I'm like, I can tell you what the temperature was and what time of the year it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
interesting.
it all matters in what sells. If it's hot, it's all
Yeah.
lighter stuff. If it's cold, it
Right.
goes darker. That kind of thing. But yeah, it's sort of I'd say if I'm going with a hierarchy, it's rare and then excellent and then new and then local and then sort of fill in the holes for whatever else we need.
But
So,
no Bud Lights, no Miller Lights. So nobody go there looking for that stuff.
yeah, we try to stay away from
you have stuff that's-
international.
We have something that's similar. I mean, we have like the garage beer.
Yeah.
That's like really like a lower tier, but easy, approachable. For Miller Lite drinkers.
Well, and really, like craft has gone back because most of your people who were, smoothies and big pastry sours and stouts and those kind of things and IPA guys, now everybody's sort of like rolling back to, I would like to be able to drink
Right.
3 or 4 beers versus
Right.
one.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
older I get, those IPAs are hitting a little bit different.
They definitely do.
Yeah,
That is for
it's
sure.
not quite the same. So,
Yeah.
what's your most not favorite beer? Like flavor, like style, type, or whatever. Like you're like, I'm not even gonna try that shit. Just put it on the shelf. Sours, stomach acid. That's what it tastes like. To me.
I don't know. It goes through
Well, yeah.
phases for me. I'll say smoked beer.
I
Roush
say
beer,
Roush beers.
just
We
do
have a
not
smoke
like
lager
it.
on too right now.
Not that.
I didn't try it because I was like, I don't want to try it.
Yeah.
And it will make the line smell like the next beer you put on if you don't clean it right away.
Yeah.
You can smell the smoke in the beer, right? And it just like
I don't think I
that
ever
for
saw
me
that.
is like, you know,
And
yeah.
it, like Beer Keller actually makes a really good one over on the river, and I say Scott's is
Palatable.
for me, yeah. I can drink
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's sort of the
Yeah.
it's sort of the like sours are interesting to me because I think I grew up in the South, and the South is always vinegar based things, pickling things, and so sours like the first one I had, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is great, I love this.
Yeah.
Then you drink like one too many one night.
Yeah,
You're like,
you're
you know
like,
what? Maybe
never
I'll just
again.
use those occasionally.
Right.
But,
I think
Right.
I also gave up on barley wines. They're like 14%, and they are just
I don't think I had that either.
Oh.
yeah, they are just too intense for
Too
me. I'm
intense,
too
yeah.
old for that now.
No doubt. So, who's your most hated brewer? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But like, yeah,
gotta
what
catch
is?
us in the moment.
Yes, right.
Bill
Yeah.
Hicks.
Oh, them.
But I can tell which ones you don't like when they go on sale real quick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. But yeah, what did you say overall? Are you mostly IPAs are like the vogue right now? I know you said seasonal, but like I always like to get IPAs when I come there. But is that what most people like? Or
I think there's a push right now for like dry hop pilsners right now.
Yeah, I think it's sort of we're in that
Some of the
weird
lighter.
like I'd say maybe people are looking for the new style. It's kind of like every few years there's something that sort of dominates the market. American beer is driven by hops, right? Because
Right.
Sierra Nevada Pale came along and no one in Europe had ever thought about like maybe we should make this taste like the fresher version
Yeah.
of it versus the
Right.
bittered
Yeah.
thing that everybody else had done forever. And so every few years there's sort of a tweak, and I think right now everybody's taking that what makes the New England style IPA
yeah,
attractive to nearly everyone, and now they're going back and applying it to say lagers or
Right.
just lighter beers. It's like again, I say the funny thing about beer always is those super flavorful things that everybody like craves and loves are great, except for you only drink one.
One of
peanut
them.
butter and jelly, whatever. So,
Right.
Yeah, and beer
Yeah.
is built. The business model of beer is built on volume,
yeah,
right?
not
Like
done.
there's a reason
Yeah.
that Budweiser wants you to buy a case of it at a time, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
beer makes money when it's sold in mass, and
Yeah.
so if you can't buy more than, or if you can't drink more than one,
Right.
that's not good for business for
Right.
anybody, right?
Right.
So that's what everybody's
Yeah.
trying to figure out.
So,
is-
yeah,
was-
good. No,
I was
no,
gonna say,
please,
is
your
there
turn.
like a White Rabbit brewery that you would like? Oh my gosh, if we like your White Rabbit, something that you're chasing that's hard to get. You know, like
Like
if there was
Treehouse.
if there's
they
a
don't
brewery,
distribute here,
okay,
but
there
if
you
they
go.
could,
yeah.
they would be amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Treehouse is the answer to
Yeah.
that question.
Tell me more about Treehouse.
Yeah, where are they?
Yeah.
They're in
Yeah.
Cambridge.
Treehouse reps, if you're
Yeah.
listening.
Or actually, they're in Connecticut. I
Oh,
think.
okay.
But they're a little brewery. They started up, honestly, about the same time that Divine Street started up, 2014. They were probably
that's
open
right.
in 2013. One of our original investors, his wife was from their town. And he brought us Hayes, Sap, Julius.
Julius is like, the one.
What's the stout called? I can't remember what the stout is called, but he brought us all those beers. And at that time, they were ranked like 1, 4, 7, and 10 in like the world beer rankings.
Oh, wow.
In like the old days when
Yeah.
Beer Advocate was a thing.
Yeah.
They're just, I mean, they're
Yeah.
insane. They built a brewery. They built like a $30 million brewery in cash.
Oh.
And like people would just take buses from New York City to the,
Yeah, sounds
to the
good.
brewery. And like,
Wow.
they
Okay.
are,
Like a Maine style. Like I mean, I know Maine Brewery. That's kind of one
Yeah,
of those I
they're-
like a lot.
So
They're
like
definitely
Maine
more
makes,
hazy.
yeah, I was about to say Maine makes like super clean beer, right?
Yeah.
Treehouse is definitely a hazy,
Easy
beer.
beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is pretty large reach on this podcast.
Yeah.
We'll see.
If you go to any like heady concert, Fish,
Uh-huh.
Widespread, just look for a guy in the parking lot with a cooler. They'll have them.
They'll have
They'll
them.
always have
Okay.
them.
They don't distribute at all, or just not this far south.
They basically like in a very small footprint or at the brewery. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think people need to know too about y'all's spot because like you have I call them grab and go coolers. Like so you can go in there and just grab a sour, you can grab other ones and make your own 6-packs. Like, but there's about 400 different. How many different beers are you carrying?
Yeah,
in that place?
so there's somewhere between 300 and 400 kinds of beer,
thought that's what I
seltzer,
counted last time.
mead. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. He was there for a minute.
I got 300
Stop,
by
really?
one door and extrapolated out. But yeah, about 300 kinds of beer, give or take.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
Well,
then
I
growlers.
appreciate that y'all also sell wine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because some
Kind of.
What
Like,
I
don't
say-
get people's hopes up. They're gonna walk in. And it's like
No, I'm
wine
just
and
saying,
more.
if you don't love beer and you still want
Right.
to go and have a good time, you have non-alcoholic options. You have wine. You like there's a little something for everybody,
Bubbles,
even if you're not like super into the beer world.
When we sort of made that choice, I'd say when we redid the Divine Street store a couple years ago, we sort of made the choice of we doubled our wine selection essentially.
Yeah.
We'd always done it more as like a fun little, hey, we got cool
Yeah.
stuff if you have somebody with you who doesn't drink
Right.
beer, right?
Right.
And now, I mean, we've got a pretty good selection, I'd say, across whites, rosés, and reds. And I play the same game with wine that I do with beers. I don't like when you walk in and you see something, it's not something you see in other places kind of thing. So we have a lot of fun sort of esoteric stuff that.
Yeah.
So how is the THC game working into y'all's business now? Because before it was like, you can't really have it. You can kind of have it because the government knows which end of the mouth to talk out of. But now you've got them, so.
Well, and we don't know if we can keep them.
Right.
That's the trick,
see,
but
still
we'll
up in
see.
the air
We'll
right
see
now.
where that's going. But
Are you seeing a lot of sales in it though? Like people.
so I dragged our feet for a long time. I was really worried about the whole mixing of like beer and THC, and I just didn't know like how a bartender could monitor.
Oh.
You
Yeah,
know,
the
like
liability side,
people like on the liability side.
Yeah.
And so for a long time, I think I was like, no, Kellen, no, Kellen, no, Kellen. He finally was like, we should probably try it. It's in restaurants.
Yeah.
We see it in a lot of places. Like, let's dabble with it. And I was like, okay, like let's just keep it local. Like let's
Right.
try to bring in let's support one another. We don't
Right.
need to have the big names.
Yeah.
We can just bring in some local
Yeah.
stuff.
Peak Drift, like I've enjoyed theirs.
Well, exactly. And honestly, I have like 180 degree turn on it all because I think the people that are drinking it are responsible in drinking that and not mixing it. And then, you know what I mean? Like, and vice versa. Like, they're just, you reckon, like, we're all adults. You know?
Yeah.
We know most of us know our tolerance.
Right.
And we're not open super late. So you're just, or they take it home. I see a lot of people
Yeah, I
take
think
it
we
home.
went into it worried. We were very worried that it would be sort of a younger crowd than what our normal sort of target customer is. I would tell you what amazes me is without pulling demographics, I will just tell you that the biggest customer base is 55 and up. Like that's the people that are drinking, the people who used to grab a couple beers on the way out the door to take home with them. And they're like, well, I can take a 4-pack of these and drink them at home and feel fine tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or I could have drank those 2 beers that I took home and I'm not going to feel fine tomorrow.
Right.
So it's very much, it has surprised me. I thought we would get some backlash from it. I thought we would have trouble with people in the store with it. It's been almost, we've heard no complaints about it. We have seen I'd say almost, I can't name a problem we've had with it. And it has been really surprising who the purchasers are.
I've never seen a problem, by the way, at your place, and I've been there a lot of times. So I mean, like, I think the crowd itself, there's not usually problems.
Yeah.
So I bet your food sales went up, right? Like I get hungry when I drink those things. That's why I can't do it. I'm like, I'll drink one of these tonight before I go to bed. I'm like eating ice cream. Like this is not good. I'm also a lightweight at THC stuff.
I'm the worst. I can't. I tried one that was like a 2 milligram one, and I was like, I gotta go home. Take me out of public, please.
I was doing the California sober for like 3 months, and I was like, I'll try one of these big ones that I got at like bottles. And I was like helping somebody's birthday party. I was helping host, and all of a sudden I'm like super tired. I'm like, what? I'm like falling asleep standing up.
Oh, shoot.
And they're like, what'd you drink? Like that's the one that puts you to sleep. I'm like, there's a difference.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to sweep
Read your
like.
Gotta do the CBD ones. Well,
Yeah, I don't even know.
I honestly haven't tried one yet. Well, I mean, I had a sip of one.
Okay.
But
you didn't inhale.
Right.
No, I feel like because I've had 2 kids under 2, it just feels like at this point I haven't been able to like.
But they'll sleep better.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll sleep better.
So y'all are like the pub, like the old quintessential pub of Columbia.
The Cheers.
Yeah, you really are.
Am I allowed to say that?
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
Copyrighted. We'll
Definitely
find out.
We'll know sooner or later.
We'll know who's
Where
listening to
everyone
this
knows your
podcast.
name.
Yeah, for sure. Like literally,
Yeah.
like I walk in, and I actually don't go that often, but I walk in, like the bartenders recognize us. They know who we are. We know them from the community. And like, was that always the intention? Like when y'all started this, or just kind of made it?
I think when we really were planning to place out, right? That was when growler sales were huge. It was still really hard to get any local beer at all. And so we really intended to be sort of 50% on premise, 50% off premise. Weekend 1, we probably would have told you that probably wasn't going to be the case because, we had people sticking beers in on the shelves and that kind of thing, as using it as a table and that kind of stuff. And we sort of shifted away from that, and that sort of became what we are, right? Like a neighborhood bar. And, the distributors in the early days were like, "Oh, we'll cover up the windows," and we were like, "Yeah, that's not who we're trying to attract." You know, like I want you to drive down Divine Street and look in the window and be like, "Oh, I see my
See,
friend."
yeah.
Turn around and come have a beer with them. You know?
No, you see kids playing in the window, literally, and eating popsicles. That's what I see.
It's sort of the the family friendly thing, and I say maybe the biggest two compliments we've ever gotten is the biggest one ever is somebody saying like, "Oh, I bought my house in Shandon because it was in walking distance of Craft and Draft." Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's if you're making that kind
Well,
of
it's
life
also
decision,
responsible.
Right,
Good job.
right,
It's
yep.
gonna-
Yes.
Again, the liability,
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
right? So,
right, yeah.
But, and the other part of that is like people are like, "Oh, I don't even keep beer at my house because I'll just stop there and have a beer before I go home," you know. And it's like that's a cool thing to say that we've created, and really what we tried to do in Irmo too, and have done a really good job of sort of joke about the community center thing, but it's a community center that happens to be based around craft beer.
Dude, there was an 8th grade birthday party there one time I was there. Like that is like probably the coolest compliment I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We're trying to be Columbia's number one-year-old birthday.
Yes,
stop.
nice.
Yes, yeah, that's what you need.
Right.
But legit, like you go there and there's always kids. There's usually always dogs, usually well behaved, and usually old people at the end reading a book. Like that's really the three things
bit of
I always.
everything.
And people also having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we always like to ask the guests on our podcast because, you know, a lot of we help people move. And a lot of people that are coming to Columbia listening to this, they kind of want to know, like, all right, what makes Columbia cool, right? So besides craft and draft, like if somebody was coming to Columbia and they had like a weekend, you know, what are some of the things you would tell them they need to experience? Obviously, craft and draft. Mm-hmm.
I always go to Small Sugar and get their pastries or their soft scrambled eggs. Like one of my favorite restaurants.
Yeah.
Sarah's great. Obviously, you got City
Right.
City Grit and El Florculare.
Yes.
Yeah, that are great too. And then Hotel Trundle, if you need a place to stay, they're our good friends. That hotel, boutique hotel, is awesome, and I think they have like Airbnbs too. And then I always, again, I haven't been going out as much because I'm a little newer mom.
But we'll speak to the mom
but
audience. Like,
yeah,
where do
well,
they...
the Hendrix is like if I have a date night, I'm gonna go there.
Yeah. Do you go on rooftop too?
If I have time.
If it's not 100 degrees or rain,
But
yes.
that's kind of my, circuit. As far as like families go, you got Transmission Arcade over there, which is great too. We recently took our 2-year-old to Adventure, and like she loved it.
Yes.
And I hadn't been there in years, and that was really cool. And obviously the zoo, family friendly.
Yeah. You got a great zoo.
But,
The two things I would say you always tell people are Soda City Market and
Yeah.
the zoo, right? Like
Yeah.
those are things that
Treasures.
exist
Have
here
to.
that are better than everywhere.
Well, and
They're
now you have
just-
to say Finley Park too,
Oh,
because
yes.
it's like that place is just
Booming.
yeah, they're killing it. And the live music, I think every Friday.
Every Friday.
Free.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And we've got our first like big music festival coming the end of this month in Finley Park. I can't wait. The Songbird. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no doubt.
I do think it's really cool. Like Columbia has some really good, there used to be good stuff, but it was all kind of spread out and sprawled out. Now there's sort of like multiple districts that you can go hang out in. So depending on where you're staying, like you talk about sort of the West Columbia and River area where I know for people like us, like Savage, Beer Keller, all that is in striking distance
Yeah.
in the same.
Yeah.
You can walk that. A little tougher to walk that, but still like a close by place. Main Street now has developed into something that's awesome with lots of different things up and
Yeah.
down it. Obviously we're partial to Shandon and Divine Street because I think it's the best neighborhood in the city and in the town kind of thing. But there's just fun. You can go multiple places and spend time in each area, whereas you used to sort of have to move around. And I would say if you were trying to hit all the best things, you couldn't. None of the best things were in the same place.
Right.
Whereas
Yeah.
now
You've got lots of good options all in those pockets.
Yeah. So you can really send somebody, like if somebody stays at one of the Airbnbs on Divine, like could spend a whole day just kind of wandering up and down the street.
Yeah.
If you stay on Main Street, can wander up and down the street. If you stay in West Columbia, you can actually do all that now. Like it's cool to see the city have grown like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's something that you think Columbia is missing or could benefit from having?
Mine's an Apple store.
Yeah, I mean, an Apple Store is like as
legit.
as a Droid person, the fact that we don't have an Apple Store is still sad.
Okay, mine's gonna be probably unpopular, but
Sorry.
coming from New Jersey, we
Oh,
are
no, we
known
can
for
stop right
our
there.
malls.
Oh, yes.
Like a 2-story, like
Because
legit
it's cold out all the time. You have to go
mall.
inside.
We had one, but she didn't make it.
We need
Fashion
like
Mall
yeah,
was
we
the
had more than
best.
they're just not the same down
Yeah.
here. Yeah,
Right.
You could do
Oh,
your
yeah.
Christmas shopping and like all that good stuff.
They still have them in Jersey though. Like they
Oh
have
yeah,
like
the
phased out?
Bridgewater Mall,
Okay,
Short
okay,
Hills
okay,
Mall.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some big ones in Charlotte and
I mean,
Atlanta.
and they're all. I can't afford the Short Hills Mall. They're all stores that have wood hangers.
Oh,
You know what that means,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to explain that to this audience.
I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah, it is a real
Oh, that is a
Walk in and
real
doesn't have wood
thing.
hangers, you should leave. Is that what
Yeah.
Note to self. All right,
Well,
cool.
it's just going to be a different caliber.
That's hilarious. I've not heard that before.
Okay, so malls.
Malls. Yeah.
That has not been mentioned here on this podcast.
has not.
So,
But I guess I'm just
right. Where are you from?
Nostalgic.
it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up going to the malls, but I wouldn't let
Well, it was like a
Hang out.
giant playpen for teenagers. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you could drop them off in the morning and pick them up in the. I mean, I would spend all day at Richland Fashion
Yeah,
Mall.
we thought it was cool. I'm sure the people that worked there did not think it was
No,
cool.
probably not. But we
Trying to
policed
make out
And then we
behind
could have our
houses.
Apple store in the mall.
There
like,
you go.
Okay,
Kill
okay.
two birds with one stone.
I'll
I
be
said
on
it
board
right.
with that.
Yeah, two
Kill
birds,
two.
one stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so breaking down into like Columbia. So if you were moving here, we already talked about like if you were to come to visit, what would you do? But like moving here, it's so hard to describe Columbia. I mean, obviously being from not from Columbia originally and all that stuff. Like, how would you describe it to somebody? Like, what? I don't know. How would you describe it? I guess that's the best way of asking.
I always say it's a melting pot. I think there are a lot of people that grew up here and stay here, but because of the university, you constantly have like changeover, meeting new people. I do think there is a lot of New Jersey people, but I think that if you look at the enrollment, that's, kind of transparent right there.
Yeah.
They're all going there.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like a special melting pot. Like we're mixed cultures and everything like that and getting to know different types of people. I don't know.
I always say like Columbia is a great tiny city, right? Like
Yeah.
we feel like a city.
Like,
Yeah.
We were in Greenville the weekend before last, and like I love Greenville and the way it's grown is beautiful, but it still doesn't feel like a city to me. Like it's still sort of Greenville is a unique. That's maybe a different discussion. But
Yeah.
Greenville is a unique thing. Charleston is very much like an old school. They have tons of new development too, but it's very much that old school historic, destination to
Right.
me. Whereas Columbia feels like a baby Manhattan kind of in a way, like we're very concentrated. When you walk through downtown, it feels like you're in a business city, that kind of thing. And it's cool that we have, I think, most of the big city amenities without the big city problems now.
Sure.
We could
Yeah.
use more of a lot of those things, but I say not the problems.
Right. Big city amenities. Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. Okay, well, going back to beer. So, like, if somebody had never, like, walks into Craft and Draft and they're like, I'm not a beer person, but I want to be, where do I start?
I say that is the perfect customer for us.
It
right?
is.
Like if
and
you
I
say
do
I
love
don't
that.
like
Yeah.
beer,
I
I'm
love
like,
it.
yeah, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well, I don't.
Yeah,
So
well,
let's do it.
And I say like, but you like wine, right?
I do.
So I would start you on sour beer, almost
Yep,
certainly, right?
almost.
Because
Yep.
do you drink coffee?
Nope.
Okay, so we'd stay away from dark beer. But those are
Okay.
usually, I always say, those are sort of more of the two of the gateways
Yep.
into craft beer. Is that like if you like coffee, you probably like stouts, you just don't know it yet, right?
Okay.
Like very similar flavor, mouthfeel, all that good stuff. With wine, especially if you like white wine and acidic wine and that kind of thing, zippy, Sauvignon Blanc and that kind of thing. Like, yeah, we got you on
Sours,
sour beers,
yeah.
right? Like, give you a goza, give you some fruited stuff. Like you can dabble in there and see where it goes.
See where
from
it takes
there.
us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it really is. I mean, if you look at how many beers there are, right? There's 300 kinds of beer, and like at least once a week somebody walks in and they're like, "Do you have X?" And we're like, "No, not right now."
Not right
you know?
now.
And that's with 300 kinds of beer in the store, right?
Yeah.
So it's always something out there, and I would say if you haven't liked beers because you haven't tried the right one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh, words to
Challenge
live by.
accepted.
Yeah. Next Karma Keg, we're gonna have a little tasting contest.
Yeah. All right.
Well, and
gonna
that's the
have a
nice part.
pile
We
ready.
always will give you a sample. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like an ice
Whole
cream
Foods.
store.
Yeah.
You can have a sample before you buy it. So
I do
we want you
appreciate
like that. What you purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk. You got a birthday party coming up every summer,
Yeah.
right?
12 years this year.
Yeah. You already got the theme picked out, or are you still working on
We're
that?
working on themes right now.
Yeah,
We've batted a bunch
yeah.
of stuff around, and themes have I don't know how
They've
it's
gotten more
harder.
challenging.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Maybe we've done all the ones that we wanted to do,
right.
so
Yeah.
now we're like, what do we really want?
I
to
felt
do
like they
kind of
just
thing?
always kind of fell into place. Like
Yeah.
Beer Watch was just like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the original ones back in the day.
So if you
and-
have good 12 related themes, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah.
We can spitball
I just feel
ideas.
like we've had like such standards, and now
We
it's
do
like
like
we
a
have
play
to
on
be
the 12 days of Christmas, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
throwing around like like a clock, like doing a time theme. We've thrown around
Okay.
months and like the year, the calendar, that
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
There was threats of like a sexy craft draft bartender. I use that word very loosely. A photo shoot calendar, you know.
Yes, a calendar.
Yes.
Because
Nice.
it's usually middle to end of July.
The second Saturday in July is usually what we celebrate.
It's a pretty big party.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gotten big.
Yeah.
Y'all shutting down the street yet, or are you just still keeping in the back?
We keep the street shutdown will be for, we'll call it like 5 years. So we'll do it again
Yeah.
probably at like 15.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like bands, like full day event.
Yep.
Like it's
Music,
That's
food
rocking.
trucks. Obviously, our permanent food truck will be operating again. Yeah. Themes. Limited edition merch.
Okay.
Per
Ooh,
usual.
merch.
yeah. And also, I mean, as we were remiss, we don't like to talk about Irmo much. I'm kidding. But y'all have a massive store in Irmo.
Yeah.
And it's
7,000
awesome.
square feet.
Yeah, so like basically the store we have times 3.
Yeah.
At Irmo, so.
And it's doing well. I mean, I haven't been out there this year, but like,
We just passed 6 years old out there, and yeah, it's been great. We we opened right in the start of COVID, which was a very interesting time to open a second thing, but survived, and the community's taking us in, and
Really
it's been really
embraced.
fun out there. And we sort of that store's, we like to joke, it's like going to work and you get to do the same thing but different, because it's got an arcade in it, and we do a bunch of pinball games with Carolina Game Labs and that kind of thing, and pre the food truck at Divine Street was our first full foray into a restaurant kind of thing.
Yes.
So.
no doubt.
And do you think you'll just stay Divine Street and Irmo, or will you like go anywhere else?
We have.
I ask them every time.
We would have had a Craft and Draft 3 by now, but we are, like everyone, dealing with liquor liability.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
And at this point, it's too risky to, I think, jump onto the third one until we kind of know.
Which direction kind of thing?
Is that getting wrapped up, or is that still like just way up in the air?
The answer to that is no. It's last year they made some changes. It gave us a bunch more hoops to jump through, and I kind of joked around that
We haven't really seen any relief
public
from
would
it.
have less coverage. It would be harder for restaurants and bars, and then in the reality, nobody would really pay much less than that seems to be sort of the answer to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some hope. They're still going to work on it some more, but it's tough. What you're talking about with new things in Columbia, like that's the biggest scare, is that there's going to be less new things because people are scared to open new restaurants and bars because you just are. It's just a huge expense every year for something that you already have established. Sort of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So what is the answer to that?
no insurance for anybody, no lawsuits. All the attorneys go away.
Yeah.
Knowing that can't happen.
It's the same way it got to where it is, right? There was no one change that really caused the problem, and there's not going to be one fix that fixes the problem completely.
Yeah.
Because people should be held responsible for the things they sell and the risk they put out into the public, right? But at the same time, you can't put all of us out of business, because I don't think everybody wants to sit at home,
No.
and not go out or have places to go and
Right.
see people. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We've got a lot of friends that own local restaurants and bars, and that is just like the main thing I keep hearing. And I'm just like,
We're all sad. We feel like, one track, we just repeat it over and over and over again because
Right.
we don't know what else to talk about, right?
Well, at our insurance company, we insure several restaurants and bars and stuff, and like those are our biggest policies by far. It's just like, holy hell, like just to sell a couple of beers at like a local restaurant, not a beer place,
Yeah.
and it's just tens of thousands of dollars a year for
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So it's not even maybe not even worth it. I mean, keep doing it so we can keep the policies, but
Yeah, we said, we lucked out in a lot of ways. 2 successful places. We are profitable at both. We were in a much different position than lots of people in our industry were. So we have been able to weather the storm, and at least for the foreseeable future, we're going to be okay. It's just lots of people aren't in the position that we are, where it might not, if you weren't doing great to begin with, it's not something that you can just overcome, right?
Right.
So,
it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Well, we appreciate everything you're doing, and honestly, anybody coming to visit Columbia, or if you haven't yet, like you got to make a stop at Craft and Draft, because really being the pub of Columbia, like you're gonna everybody's friendly, everybody's nice, like you get to meet the locals,
Make a new friend.
yeah, like
you
or
can
if
take your dog, you can take your kids.
it's
you
cold,
can
go sit
take-
outside with the heaters or the fans, like y'all really got to set up now. I mean, that's what we have
Trivia,
events.
music bingo.
Ooh, trivia, I forgot about that.
All that
That's a good trivia.
Live music, mahjong. All
Oh,
the-
mahjong.
Hold on, hold on.
we're
Now we're
mahjong
pushing.
over here now. Yeah.
When do you do mahjong?
Second Mondays of the month.
Okay, I'm not coming. I was just
Mahjong
wondering.
Monday.
I can't even spell mahjong. I ready
I say
to
we need to have like a guy's table of mahjong.
Okay.
He
I
wants
would
to learn
love to
because he
see
has
you
that
play
math
Mahjong.
science
Yeah.
Oh,
brain.
yeah, I don't.
I don't want to learn. I want to win.
There you go.
We should do an real estate mahjong tournament.
Not doing it. I have tried to play that game twice, and it's not for me.
it's
It's just
not
not
that
for
bad.
me.
It's not
Okay.
that bad.
It's just
Is it
I can't be
math?
good at everything. It's
patterns.
There's a lot of rules.
There
You
are.
gotta like watch this
You just
card.
gotta play with the right people.
I
Like
it's
where that
okay.
are like approachable that like
Same.
will train
No,
you
like
as
best
you
friend
go.
tried to teach me twice.
Oh,
She's like, this may not be for you. I was like,
then-
that's okay.
That's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I'll just watch other people play.
go play mahjong.
On
I just
Monday.
like saying it. It makes me sound very astute.
Does it?
Does it?
Okay. You don't even know how to like. Is it math?
Say mahjong, okay? Mahjong. You have to like nod your head when you do it. Mahjong. It's not French. All right. Anyways, go check out Craft and Draft because this is where you're gonna get the culture of Columbia. This is where you're gonna
Yes.
find new friends, and also you can get some good damn beer. So we appreciate everything y'all have done.
Thank you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
all the community and client events
Yes.
you let us have there. It is always awesome, always a good time. So
Yeah, yeah.
thanks for being great stewards of our communities.
Yeah.
It's been great.
For sure.
Thanks for being a part as well. That's always the
was
fun
gonna say.
part is that we can be a part of, have other people in and enjoy our business. That helps us. You know, it's great. It's a great collaborative effort, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
good to have everybody in and good to have a place where we can have people come in and
Yeah.
do that kind of thing.
Great. So thanks for doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you.